Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. There are a few familiar faces and a few strangers, but it's lovely to see you all. Since I was here last year, I have gone a little bit botanical. Yeah?
Have you spoken weeds yet?
No, I don't mix in those circles.
It doesn't grow.
No, I mean botanicals in the nature of painting flora. Yes. Now, there may be some of you in this room who would poo-poo the notion of painting flowers. Yeah, Moira wouldn't.
No.
Yes. No, because what's amazed me is the weird and wonderful stuff that is out there. Yeah. So I'm going to start by, I've just picked out 3 paintings that I've done. So can you identify the flower in these pictures? We'll start simply and work up to the more complicated stuff. Are you ready? So can you identify that flower? And what is unusual about the crocus that you are looking at? It has got 3 different colours. So you see, it is a multi-dimensional crocus. See, you can break boundaries even with the whole notion of floral stuff. The people I've been teaching are interested in the botanical side. So I've tried to break a few boundaries with introducing this notion that you can have sort of like different species in the same plant. What about this one?
Marigold.
Yeah, French marigold. So that's watercolours, that's acrylics. What about this one? Antirrhinum. Listen to Moira. The plant expert present in the room. So if at any point we need the Latin name, it will be Moira that we turn to. The antirrhinum or snapdragon. Yes, snapdragon. And it occurred to me this took them by surprise, because it occurred to me when they're quite humorous things, pushing the boundaries of what you'd expect from floral paintings. So we've established there's a little groundswell of botanical knowledge in the room, mainly from Moira, so now I'm going to put a photograph of something that you all know, but I'm wondering whether you will recognise it. So the question I am asking is, what are these? Fuchsia. Any advance on fuchsia? I suppose you could go back from the fuchsia.
Oh yeah.
The what?
Honeysuckle.
That's a nice suggestion, but no, it's not right. It's not right. Rhododendron. Very nice suggestion, but not right. Not right. Okay, shall I zoom out? Zoom out. There's wondrous things happening amongst those flowers that I will explain momentarily. If I zoom out, the overall flower shape looks like that. It's not a buddleia. Listen to Philip, who has suddenly revealed his botanical awareness. Oh, it was Derek. Listen to Derek.
He's hiding at the back.
Yes. Horse chestnut. If I zoom out even further, there's the tree. Okay, right? So did you realise that when you get close into a horse chestnut flower, those white candles And amazingly, you can see yellow spots and red spots, can't you? Yeah? The wondrous thing is that that is a sign for the bees. The ones with yellow flowers have yet to be pollinated. The ones that have turned red have been pollinated. Isn't that awesome? That's something we all know. The horse, and you didn't even recognise it because you see the white candles, you don't see the closeness of the flowers. How awesome is that? It's astonishing. Okay, so it is indeed the horse chestnut. So, why is it called a horse chestnut? Because of the conkers. Because of the conkers. So come September, that were me. I had a 24er at one time. It was knocked to pieces by a 48er. So, no, what I should, no, there is an explanation. There is an explanation. But in true would I lie to you mode, I'm going to give you 3 options. Okay? So the first option is the academic one. Yes, so this is academic, Andrea. Okay, are you ready for academic? Academia now. So in academic circles, yes, we have to refer to the Latin. Here is the Latin Aesolus hippocastanum. Yes, so possible explanation for the naming of the horse chestnut, number 1. Yes, this will take you back to the Colosseum at the height of the Roman Empire. Yes, between the gladiatorial fighting, there were other acts. And one such act was the Roman strongman Aesolus. He would step out into the arena with his muscly arms and his broad shoulders and his muscly chest, and he would beat his chest. And then, to the gasps of amazement of the audience, his act was called hippocastanumba. What he would do, he would juggle hippopotami. They were, of course, only baby hippopotami. It would be ridiculous to say full-grown hippopotamus, wouldn't it? Yes, he would juggle baby, which, much to the shock of the baby hippopotamuses, finding them suddenly airborne. Yeah. So hippopotamus is, of course, translated as water horse. There he is with his river horse. Yeah. There he is with his bulky chest. So, possible explanation number 1. Possible explanation number 2. Horse chestnuts, okay. So now we go to Turkey. Yeah, we go to Turkey where there are many accomplished horse riding gentlemen. And they care for their horses meticulously. For it is hot and dry in Turkey. And on those hot and dry, dusty roads, the horses get a little hoarse and throaty. And they tend to cough. Or worse. Yeah? And what the Turkish horsemen have discovered is if they give them a conker to nibble on, the coughing abates. This story can be further extended into the First World War, when in the savage, wet, damp winter of 1914 to 1915, when the British Army still felt it sensible to have cavalry charges against the guns of the Germans, yeah? Horses, of course, were in the trenches up to their knees in mud and were coughing aplenty. And although we picture the Somme now as a devastated sort of war ground, in in the winter of 1914, 1915, there were still trees, there were still little woods in which there were horse chestnut trees, and the soldiers would feed their horses with the conkers to abate. So that's suggestion number 2. Suggestion number 3, we need to move to folklore. I'll do a folkloric voice for you. So, they do say, well, in the springtime, May, should you look at the horse chestnut trees with its lovely candles upon it, and you look at those candles, you will see, because I couldn't get one, could I? Because it's like July, isn't it? So I've had to draw one, yeah? You will see when you look at the horse chestnut candles, they quivers. They quivers. Can you, Moira, can you see them quivering?
Just about, yeah.
Quivering. Why does they quiver? To
attract the insect.
To attract it. You're thinking in sensible terms there. Remember, this is folklore. Yeah? They quivers because the invisible air horses run down the branches, clip-de-clop, 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 like that, and then launch themselves into the air. You don't believe me, do you? I can see doubting expressions around the room. And yet, if you were to look at the branch of a horse chestnut tree, you will see the hoof prints along it. So, which of those 3 explanations is the truth one? Number 1, Aeschylus, the great Roman performer, juggling his hippopotamuses. Is it number 2, the Turkish horse riders? Or is it number 3, the invisible air horses? A show of hands for number 1. Oh, you're easily led. A show of hands for number 2. There are a smattering of sensible and highly deductive people in the room, for they are right. It comes from the Turkish horse riders. Yeah? Now, don't be thinking, just because I've told you horses can eat horse chestnuts, can eat conkers, yeah, that you can. It's not the same as the chestnuts you get at Christmas. They're quite different. So don't be tempted, will you? I don't want to be the root of any poisonings. Okay, in America, they're horse chestnuts in America, and they refer to them as the buckeye. Why do they refer them to that as the buckeye? Look at this. These are conkers that are splitted. Can you see the deer's big brown round eyes? Yeah, they refer to them as the buckeye. So yeah, the horse chestnut trees sort of all over the world. But they are extraordinary. It's the flowers that you're going to do, and they are extraordinary. They're like little aliens. Little aliens with, now let's get this right, 2 petals at the top with those major signifiers of the yellow, yeah, so that your bees will fly along and think, ooh, it's a yellow flower, I'll go and pollinate that, yeah, and then red, look, they turn pinky red afterwards. That's just awesome bit of chemistry. And then they have a variable number of stamen. These are the filaments, these are the anthers. They can have anything between 5 and 8 of those, but they're like tendrils that spread out. Remember that, because that's important when you come to draw them. You're going to be drawing them in outline first. Here we go. And of course, there's a long history of botanical illustration that goes along with that, like that. Johann Daniel von Reiter, yeah, there is Aeschylus hippocastanum. I sort of don't quite agree with that, because they are more pointy, more sort of candle-shaped, really. This is rather lovely. Yeah, that's rather nice, isn't it? And you really pick up on the difference between the pink and the yellow petals in that. Here's a test for you. There was, at one time, a point where the post office put British trees on their stamps. yeah? And they put Aeschylus hippocastanum on there. So what year do you think that stamp would date from? 10p. 10p. Early 70s. I think it was 1976. 1976, okay. And horse chestnut trees, very, very important in the fight for freedom. Sadly, that horse chestnut tree, you can tell it was worse for wear when that photograph was taken, but it did collapse a couple of years ago. But that was outside of the window that Anne Frank looked out of whilst they were in hiding. And she mentions it in her diaries because, of course, the seasons pass and she sees the candles and she sees the conkers. Sadly, it's no longer there, but so important. And it's by an amazing coincidence that, do you know where that is? It is Ukraine. The horse chestnut is part of the coat of arms for Kyiv. There it is. So, see? But perhaps the most, is this a myth? Is this reality? The biggest horse chestnut tree ever referred to is this one. The chestnut of 100 horses. You can see them, yeah? The legend goes, I'm not telling you where it is, oh, I'm telling you where it is, Mount Etna, yeah? It stands on the eastern slope of Mount Etna and has survived the volcano's eruptions for 4,000 years. According to legend, Giovanna of Aragon, Queen of Naples, was visiting Mount Etna when a severe thunderstorm caused her and her entourage of 100 knights on horseback to take shelter beneath the tree. 100 knights on horseback and one lonely queen. She spent all her time putting them in their place. Make sure that horse is well groomed. Can it be real? It is. It's still there to this day. There it is. On the slopes of Mount Etna, the biggest chestnut tree that you're ever likely to go. That's just miraculous, isn't it?
That's one tree.
That is one tree. What I reckon's happened is years ago, the trunk itself has expanded and then split, and then rather than it dying, as most would, it's sort of, you know, little bits of trunk have turned into sort of almost separate trees, really, which is astonishing. And there are many artists who have attempted to describe the horse chestnut. This is lovely. This is one of my favourite artists as well, Samuel Palmer.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
Isn't that lovely? With the shepherd and the sheep gathered underneath. It's such a shame with Samuel Palmer. He did these lovely sort of, they're almost like folkloric illustrations in the early part of his career, but couldn't sell them. So then he turned to sort of painting more traditional sort of Victorian landscapes and, you know, lost the charm that is in those images. Look him up, Samuel Palmer, the early stuff. And my goodness, did he know his trees. Look at this. You perhaps wouldn't associate Renoir with a horse chestnut tree in flower. Yeah, you can see how when it's flowering it is capturing artist's imagination. And of course, I could not be stood here in the capacity that I am currently stood here without mentioning Vincent. Derek knows me too well. He didn't just do it once, did it a few times. That sort of early 1880s, more impressionist style. This is sadly nearer to 1890, and I think that's the asylum in the background. So how that style changed, but how his interest in the flowering horse chestnut tree still stayed in place. So are you ready to do some drawing? In one of your plastic bags, you have got a HB pencil with a rubber and a sharpener. Okay. And Have you got a sharpener? So sharpen up your HB pencil. What I'm going to do is hand out a wodge of worksheets on the one side and a wodge of worksheets on the other side.